All right, strap in, everybody. Today we're going deep into crypto land,
Oh, yeah.
specifically XRP,
Fair.
and some market trends. You know, the kind that make you wonder if you've slipped into some kind of, I don't know, bizarre financial mirror universe.
Yeah.
We're basing this deep dive on a piece, an opinion piece, by a crypto enthusiast who is, well, they're convinced that XRP is about to just take off like a rocket. And to be honest, some of the stuff they're saying is pretty interesting. It's got me thinking.
Yeah. Like what?
Well, they talk about politicians getting a boost from supporting crypto, Warren Buffett sitting on a pile of cash that, I mean, dragons would be jealous of.
Uh-huh.
And then you've got tech stocks hemorrhaging money while the S&P 500 is like breaking records. It's wild.
It's like watching two totally different financial movies at the same time.
Yeah.
One minute it's all celebrations, and the next it's like edge of your seat. What's going to happen next?
Right, exactly.
It's going to be fun trying to untangle it all, that's for sure.
Exactly. So let's start with this whole politician crypto
All
thing.
right.
Our source claims that candidates who are pro-crypto, they're actually gaining some serious ground. They
Interesting.
specifically bring up that Senate race in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that race, that was really something. You have a candidate openly supporting crypto, running as a Republican
Yeah.
in a state that's like hardcore Democrat.
Right.
And they did way better than anyone expected.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is this the start of some crypto political wave? I mean, it's probably too soon to say for sure,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, like, are we going to see campaign slogans about stable coins next? I mean, I'm half joking, but seriously, what could this mean for crypto regulations in the future?
Well, if this trend keeps going and we see more politicians who are pro-crypto getting elected, it's definitely going to have an impact on how crypto is regulated. You could see more laws that are friendly to crypto, leading to, I don't know, more people using and accepting it. But, politics, it's always changing. So we got to be careful about jumping to conclusions based on just one election.
Oh, for sure. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Our source also talks about Warren Buffett.
Ah,
Now, he is not exactly Mr. Crypto, but they're making the argument that all that cash he's sitting on, like mountains of it, it's a sign that the market's about to crash.
oh, wow.
And get this, his cash reserves are higher now than they've been in over 34 years.
Okay, so Warren Buffett, he's a value investor like through and through. He buys stuff when he thinks it's cheap, and then he hangs on to it for the long haul. So when he starts hoarding cash, it usually means he thinks the market's gotten too expensive and that a correction is coming. I mean, he's done this before, like before the whole dot-com bubble burst, and then again before that financial crisis in 2008.
Wait, are you saying Warren Buffett might be predicting another crash? I mean, if history's anything to go by, that's kind of scary.
Well, nobody can really predict the future, not even Warren Buffett.
Right.
I mean, there are just so many things that can make the market move.
Yeah.
But I mean, his actions, they do give you an idea of how he's seeing the market right now,
Yeah.
one of the most successful investors ever.
True.
And that kind of cautious approach, it should definitely make people think twice.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so we've got politicians jumping on the crypto train, Warren Buffett building his cash fort, and now here's where things get really strange.
Okay.
The S&P 500, which is, it's kind of like the health check for the whole market, it's hitting record highs. But at the same time, tech stocks are bleeding money. It's like two opposite things happening at once. What's going on?
Yeah, that's definitely not what you'd normally expect. Usually when the market's doing well, money flows into areas like tech,
Yeah.
places where there's potential for big growth.
Right.
But what we're seeing now, it seems like some investors are getting nervous about how expensive tech stocks have gotten, and they're starting to pull their money out.
Interesting. Our source has a theory about this. They say it's all about the rise of the everyday investor, the retail investor. It's not the big institutions driving this rally, it's people like you and me. And they use Dogecoin as an example, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That meme-based cryptocurrency that went crazy.
Yeah.
That was almost entirely driven by retail investors. The big players, the institutions, they weren't really involved.
Yeah, there's no denying that more and more regular people are investing these days. You've got all these online platforms, social media groups. It's just so easy to get involved now.
Right.
And Dogecoin, that was a perfect example of how much power retail investors can actually have, even with something as speculative as crypto.
It's kind of wild to think that the average person might be the one calling the shots in the market now. But is that a good thing? What are the risks? I mean, on the one hand, it's great that more people are participating,
Right.
but doesn't that make things more volatile, more prone to, I don't know, irrational exuberance?
It's a good question, and the answer is probably somewhere in the middle. On one hand, more people investing means more money flowing into the market, which is usually a good thing.
Makes sense.
But retail investors, they tend to be more driven by emotion. They might make quick decisions based on trends or hype, unlike institutional investors who are usually more disciplined, more focused on the long game. So that can lead to bigger swings in prices. Big gains are possible, but so are big losses.
So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? More power to the people, but also hold on tight because it could be a bumpy ride.
Exactly.
This leads us to our source's big prediction.
Okay.
XRP is about to explode in the coming supercycle. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of XRP, can you explain what a supercycle even is in the crypto world? I mean, what does that actually mean?
So in the crypto world, a supercycle, it's basically a long period of huge price increases. And it's usually driven by a bunch of things happening at the same time. Like, new technologies that give crypto more uses, more people getting into crypto, and maybe even governments making laws that are more friendly to crypto. It's basically a period of huge growth.
Okay, so that's the big picture. Now, back to XRP.
All right.
What evidence does our source give to back up their claim that XRP is going to, rule this coming supercycle? And in your opinion, what are the things that might actually affect XRP's price, both in the short term and the long term?
Honestly, our source is leaning more on like the general good feelings around crypto right now rather than giving specific evidence about XRP itself.
Okay.
But to figure out if XRP really has potential, we need to look at a few things. First, how useful is it within the Ripple system?
Right.
XRP is mainly used for moving money between countries.
Yeah.
And that could be really attractive to financial institutions, banks and stuff, because it's faster and cheaper than what they use now.
That makes sense. Having a real-world use, that could definitely give XRP an advantage in the crypto space. So what else should we be looking at?
Well, regulatory clarity is super important. Right now, Ripple is in this legal fight with the SEC.
Right.
They're arguing whether XRP is a security or a currency. If Ripple wins that case, it could remove a huge obstacle and potentially make the price of XRP go way up.
So it's like this SEC case. It's this giant question mark hanging over XRP.
Right.
Okay, let's think about our listener for a second. Imagine you're hearing all this for the first time and you're thinking, hey, maybe I should invest in XRP. What are the top things you'd consider before making that decision?
If I were our listener, the first thing I'd look at is that SEC lawsuit.
Yeah.
The outcome could have a massive impact on XRP's future.
Right.
Then I'd want to see how quickly banks and other financial companies are actually using Ripple's technology.
Right.
More adoption means more demand for XRP.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't ignore how the overall crypto market is feeling.
Yeah.
Is a supercycle really likely, or are things heading for a downturn? And finally, I think about my own risk tolerance. How much risk am I comfortable with, and what are my investment goals? Does XRP fit into that? It's crucial to do your research. Maybe even talk to a financial advisor. Don't just jump in blindly. You got to understand the risks and the potential rewards before you make any decisions.
That's great advice. Investing in crypto, especially something like XRP with this legal battle going on, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. You got to be informed.
Absolutely.
All right, let's zoom out a bit now and talk about what might actually fuel a crypto supercycle in general. What are the key things that could really make this market take off?
Well, first off, we need to see more innovation in the blockchain space. New technologies, platforms, applications, these are popping up all the time.
Right.
And they have the potential to create whole new ways to use cryptocurrencies, attract a wider range of users and investors. It can't just be hype, real technological progress. That's what lays the foundation for sustainable growth.
So it's kind of like the early days of the internet. Back then, it was a pain to get online. It was complicated.
Right.
But then things got simpler, more user-friendly.
And boom, the internet exploded. Are we seeing that same kind of evolution happening in the crypto world?
That's a great comparison. We are seeing things getting easier to use in the crypto world. Think about it. Wallets are getting simpler. Exchanges are easier to understand. You can even get crypto debit cards now.
Right.
It's becoming more accessible for the average person.
Right.
And as those tools become more common, more people will be able to get into crypto, which could lead to that boom you mentioned.
Speaking of booms, let's not forget about the media and social media.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whether it's Elon Musk tweeting about Dogecoin or big news outlets covering Bitcoin's price swings, the media has a huge influence on what people think and how they invest.
Absolutely. They can amplify both the excitement and the fear surrounding crypto. But, let's get back to the fundamentals.
Uh,
What about government policies, regulations? How might those impact the chances of a crypto supercycle?
Yeah, regulation, that's a big one. Some people say that clear regulations would make crypto more legitimate.
It would attract those big institutional investors, and that could really boost the market.
Uh-huh.
But then others worry that too much regulation could stifle innovation and hold back growth.
It's a tricky balance to get right. On one hand, consistent regulations can build trust and encourage more people to use crypto.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if the rules are too strict, it could suffocate the whole crypto market, which is known for being dynamic and innovative. And remember, different countries are taking different approaches to regulating crypto. It's a real patchwork.
Right.
That creates both challenges and opportunities for the crypto industry.
Okay, so we need innovation, we need mainstream adoption, and we need a regulatory environment that's, not too hot, not too cold. It's got to be just right. What else is crucial for a crypto supercycle to really take hold?
Let's not forget about market sentiment. Even if everything else is in place, if investors lose confidence, the market can tank.
Right.
We've seen this happen before with other types of assets, and crypto is not immune to these cycles of fear and greed.
So even if XRP has all the right ingredients for success, it's still at the mercy of, the overall mood of the market.
Exactly. And that's why it's important for investors to really understand the risks involved. Crypto is still relatively new, and it's volatile. Things can change quickly, and there are no guarantees.
No guarantees, for sure. Now, speaking of XRP, let's circle back to our source's prediction that it'll be a top performer in this potential supercycle. Like you said earlier, they didn't give much concrete evidence to back that up. But putting that aside for a moment, what are some things that could realistically drive XRP's price, regardless of whether or not a supercycle actually happens?
One key factor is how quickly banks and other financial institutions adopt Ripple's technology.
Okay.
If they start using Ripple's cross-border payment system on a large scale, that could really boost demand for XRP, which would push the price up.
Makes sense. The more XRP is actually used, the more valuable it becomes. What else might influence its price?
Competition is a big one.
Oh.
The crypto world is crowded. There are tons of other cryptocurrencies out there, all competing for attention and investment. XRP will need to stand out, show what makes it unique, to attract and keep investors in the long run.
It's like a crypto popularity contest, huh? Only the strongest survive.
Survival of the fittest, for sure. And then, of course, we can't forget about that elephant in the room, the legal battle between Ripple and the SEC.
Oh, right. That SEC case is still a big unknown. A win for Ripple could be huge for XRP's price, but if they lose, well, it could have the opposite effect.
Absolutely. The outcome of that lawsuit is going to have a major impact on XRP's future, and investors are watching it very closely.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about what might lead to a crypto supercycle, the potential risks and rewards of investing in this volatile market, and the things that could specifically affect XRP's price. What do you think?
I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about, but we're not done yet. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore the bigger implications of these trends and leave you with some thought-provoking questions to ponder as you continue your crypto journey.
I'm intrigued.
Stay tuned, folks.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, it's like waiting for a verdict. Okay, so we've talked about what might spark a crypto supercycle, right? We talked about the risks, the rewards of investing in this crazy market, and all the things that could affect XRP's price.
We've given our listeners a lot to digest, but we're not done yet.
No, not even close. In this final part of our deep dive, we're going to explore the bigger picture, the implications of all these trends. And we'll leave you with some food for thought, some questions to ponder as you continue your crypto adventure.
Sounds good. I'm ready. So let's step back. Let's look at the big picture. What are the long-term implications of these trends? How might they change the financial landscape as we know it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Cryptocurrency is on the rise. Retail investors are becoming more powerful. These are major shifts in the financial world. We're seeing a real democratization of finance. Individuals have more access to investment opportunities, more control over their financial future.
It's like the old guard of finance is being challenged by this new wave of investors, tech-savvy risk takers. They're
Mhm.
playing by a different set of rules. And this disruption, it could really shake things up.
Exactly. And we're already seeing the emergence of decentralized finance, or DeFi. It aims to build a more open and transparent financial system using blockchain technology.
DeFi, that's one of those buzzwords you hear everywhere. But honestly, I think a lot of people are still confused about what it actually is. Can you break it down for us? Like, how could DeFi actually impact our listeners' lives?
Okay, so imagine this. You need a loan. But instead of going to a bank, you bypass them completely. You borrow cryptocurrency directly from other people, potentially at a much lower interest rate. That's DeFi. It's a whole ecosystem of financial applications built on blockchain operating outside the traditional financial institutions.
So cutting out the middleman, giving people more control.
Exactly. DeFi could empower individuals, lower fees, increase transparency, and make financial services available to those who don't have access to traditional banking.
Right.
Of course, it's still early days. DeFi has its risks, like security vulnerabilities, market volatility, things like that. But the potential benefits, they're huge.
DeFi feels like the Wild West of finance right now, full of promise, but also potential dangers. But let's zoom out even further. How might wider adoption of cryptocurrency affect our everyday lives, beyond investing? Think about how we shop, how we earn and spend money. Could crypto revolutionize all that?
The potential applications of cryptocurrency are really mind-boggling. We could see crypto integrated into payment systems. Imagine paying for groceries with Bitcoin,
Hmm.
or earning Ethereum rewards just for shopping at your favorite stores, securely voting in elections using a blockchain platform. These might sound futuristic, but they're closer than we think.
Wow, a future where I can pay for my coffee with Doge. I'm in.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for crypto to disrupt the financial system. But what if, instead of replacing it, it integrates with it? Could we see a hybrid model where traditional institutions and crypto companies work together?
That's an interesting idea. Imagine banks and crypto companies collaborating. Traditional assets represented as tokens on a blockchain. Regulations evolving to accommodate this new financial world. It wouldn't be about one system winning, but about leveraging the strengths of both.
That's a really cool concept. A collaborative approach could lead to some really innovative solutions. This deep dive has been amazing. We've explored so many different aspects of the crypto world, what the future might hold. We've given our listeners a framework for understanding the key trends and forces shaping the financial landscape. But this is just the beginning. The crypto world is constantly changing, so it's crucial to stay curious, stay informed.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a few final questions to think about. If retail investors continue to drive the market, how will that change traditional investment strategies? And maybe most importantly, how can we ensure that this evolution of finance benefits everyone, not just a select few?
These are essential questions as we navigate this uncharted territory. The future of finance is being written right now, and we all have a role in shaping it. It needs to be fair, inclusive, and beneficial for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into cryptocurrency and the forces shaping the future of finance. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring. Until next time. Okay, we're back, ready to wrap up our crypto deep dive. We've gone from pro-crypto politicians to Warren Buffett's giant pile of cash, and of course the whole XRP saga.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride. But now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What are the long-term implications of all these trends? How might they reshape, the whole financial landscape?
That's the question, isn't it? The rise of crypto, the growing power of retail investors, it's a seismic shift in the financial world. It feels like we're watching the democratization of finance in real time.
Yeah, individuals are finally getting more access to investment opportunities, more control over their own financial destinies.
It's like the old guard of finance, the traditional institutions, are being challenged by this new wave of, tech-savvy, risk-taking investors. And these new investors, they're playing by a different set of rules. This kind of disruption, it could really shake things up in a big way.
Oh, absolutely. And we're already seeing this with the rise of decentralized finance, DeFi. It's all about building a more open, more transparent financial system using blockchain technology.
Yeah. DeFi, that's a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot, but I think a lot of people still don't really get what it is. Can you break it down for us? How could DeFi actually impact, our listeners' lives?
So imagine this. You need a loan, right? But instead of going to a bank, you completely bypass them. You borrow cryptocurrency directly from other individuals, and potentially at a much lower interest rate than a bank could offer. That's just one example of the power of DeFi. It's a whole bunch of financial applications built on blockchain technology, and they all operate outside of the traditional financial institutions.
So it's like cutting out the middleman, giving people more direct control over their finances.
Exactly. DeFi has the potential to empower individuals, reduce those pesky fees, increase transparency, and make financial services accessible to those who are currently excluded from traditional banking. Of course, like any new technology, DeFi has its risks. You have to be aware of things like security vulnerabilities and market volatility. But the potential benefits are massive.
DeFi definitely feels like the Wild West of finance right now, full of promise, but also potential dangers. But let's zoom out even further. How might wider adoption of cryptocurrency impact our everyday lives beyond just investing? Think about how we shop, how we earn and spend money. Could crypto revolutionize all of that?
Honestly, the potential applications of cryptocurrency are mind-blowing. We could see crypto integrated into payment systems so you can seamlessly buy your groceries with Bitcoin, for example. Imagine earning rewards in Ethereum just for shopping at your favorite stores, or securely casting your vote in an election using a blockchain-based platform. These might sound like futuristic scenarios, but they're closer than you think.
Wow, a future where I can pay for my coffee with Doge. Sign me up. Okay, we've talked about the potential for crypto to disrupt traditional finance. But what if, instead of replacing it, it becomes more integrated? Could we see a hybrid model where traditional institutions and crypto companies actually work together?
That's a really interesting possibility.
Hmm.
Imagine banks and crypto companies collaborating. Traditional assets being represented as tokens on a blockchain. Regulations evolving to accommodate this new financial paradigm. It wouldn't be about one system winning over the other, but finding ways to leverage the strengths of both.
I like that, a collaborative approach. That could lead to some really innovative solutions. This has been such an insightful deep dive. We've explored so many different facets of the crypto world. It's really got me thinking about what the future might hold.
Absolutely, and hopefully we've given our listeners a solid framework for understanding the key trends and forces shaping the financial landscape. But this is just the beginning. The world of crypto is constantly changing. It's so important to stay curious, stay informed.
Couldn't agree more. Before we say goodbye, I want to leave our listeners with a few final questions to ponder. If retail investors continue to be a driving force in the market, how might that reshape traditional investment strategies? And maybe even more importantly, how can we ensure that this evolution of finance, it benefits everyone, not just a select few?
Those are the essential questions we all need to be asking as we navigate this uncharted territory. The future of finance is being written right now, and we all have a role to play in shaping it. Let's make sure it's fair, inclusive, and beneficial for everyone.
Well said. That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cryptocurrency and the forces shaping the future of finance. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring. See you next time.